and Chrono and Marley got married, and it was a happy ending for everyone, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So yeah, we're pretty much done. We were playing the DS version, which had some kind of extra endgame content, which we took a little bit of a look at afterwards, last episode.
Yeah.
But I think we are safely able to determine that it's not probably worth our time to play through it all. It's just a
No,
couple of
not interesting enough, and really probably just requires a lot of grinding.
yeah, it's a couple extra dungeons in the dimensional vortexes, which do lead to a ending. But yeah, I think the amount of grinding we'd have to do to get up to snuff for that is just too obnoxious. So on this episode of Let's Play Chrono Trigger, we're just gonna look at some YouTube videos of some of the shit we didn't see in our playthrough. So I've mentioned before, there's like 13 endings to this game, and we only saw one of them. So we're gonna start off by going through some of the other endings and seeing what there is to see. So we've got a video queued up right now. The first ending we're gonna look at is the bad ending, which basically is something that to just lose the Lavos fight. I should to intentionally lose the first time that we face Lavos to see this, but I figured it was gonna happen anyway, and then you just beat him.
And then it turns out I'm the best at games. So
yeah, I think it turns out I'm the best at telling you where to steal haste helms from, and that.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, but all right. So why don't we go ahead and hit play and see what happens when you get wrecked by Lavos?
Okay.
I mean, taking Chrono, Marley, and Luca as your final party is probably the way to get wrecked.
Yep.
Oh, now they're confused. Yep, that's what a way to go. What a way to go.
Killing your own party members.
Wow.
Oop.
Get fucked, Luca.
Chrono, come on.
Oh, nice. He got him attacking. I'm not even sure how they got to this point and have Lavos do so much damage to them. Like, that's a crazy amount of damage, but
yeah.
Whatever. Maybe they took off all their armor or something. So, shit.
Oh dear.
It didn't stop the day of Lavos. He comes out. We saw some parts of this in one of the domes in the future on the computer.
Yeah, it was like a video, but
more of the people of 1999, and they react to the apocalypse. A little bit of Mode 7 action.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yep. Shit's all fucked right now.
It's not good.
Yep.
Everything's being destroyed. Oh boy.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Earth does not fare well under Lavos' gentle claw. I always thought that was a really sick, like, game over screen. That's it. So that's the bad ending. So that didn't happen to us, so that's good.
Luckily.
So, yeah, so now we're going to go on to some of the other proper endings. So, like we said last time, you can fight Lavos pretty much at any point in the game. In your first playthrough, you can do it at any point after you get to the end of time for the first time. In New Game Plus, you can literally do it at any time. So we're going to just kind of go through them backwards, I guess. So I'm going to send you another link to another video. This ending... Back in the SNES days, we didn't have names for the endings. Like, it doesn't tell you in game, but in the DS version, Like there's a bestiary which actually has proper names for all of the endings. So this is referred to as the reunion ending, and you get this one if you beat Lavos after Chrono dies, but before you resurrect him at Death Peak. So let's see what happens.
Like, fuck, we don't need Chrono to do this.
Yes. Oh, and I'll also say this this will be a twofer, because this save file did not choose to spare Magus at Cape Howell.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the crew wakes up at the end of time. Right, because Lavos is dead, all of the time gates are gonna close. So everybody's like, we gotta get the
times.
Yeah, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Man.
This is pretty funny.
Okay. To celebrate.
We get to celebrate the Millennial Fair all alone.
Oh, without Chrono.
Yep, everything's back to normal. Nothing messed up here.
Poor Molly.
Yep. I like to think she's like just kind of being passive aggressive going along with it. Like she just got an annoyed look on her face, but and there's Chrono's mom being like, have you seen
Oh man.
have you seen my little boy?
Oh man.
And one thing I wanted to say about the ending we saw yesterday, remember how the cat jumps in the time?
Yeah.
One of the things you can win in the tent besides a Chrono doll is another cat, and every time you win a cat, another cat like appears in Chrono's house, and the amount of cats you've won in the tent will determine how many go into the portal at the end.
Oh, seriously?
Like, yeah, I think it like caps out at like 15 cats.
So you can just have like 15 cats in the portal.
Yep.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. For real. Oh.
Hey. Oh hey, what's his face came back from the end of time.
Yep. And Frog's a man.
Now Luke is interested.
Yeah. Disgusted when he was
That's
a frog.
too late.
Luca, you slut.
Luca X Frog.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening. Luke is great. And they're off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they kind of beat you over the head with this time egg you need to get. How did you not talk to Gasper at least once?
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. And the credits are a little different, I think.
You just finished a game of Chrono.
Yeah, I honestly wonder if anybody like accidentally did that. They were just like, oh shit, I guess Chrono's dead and there's nothing I can do. I'll just go fight Lavos now.
Like, maybe because, you know, they didn't get the Chrono, they never figured it out.
Oh right, yeah, maybe they just got stuck and they were like, I don't know. I don't know
Like,
what the
imagine
fuck.
if I just won cats instead of a doll, and then it would have been like, well, that's useless.
Right. That doesn't help. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, and here's where we see...
Nice.
Yeah. I was doing a little bit of research, just trying to put all... There he is. Trying to put all this together, and I guess that frog is turned into a frog is because... in the Japanese version, have the little duel with Ozzy and Magus on the mountain, and he says, like, after they kill Cyrus, he says to Glenn something like, you look so scared, you look like a frog that got glared at by a snake or something, which I guess is like, it's like the Japanese idiom for being a deer stuck in headlights or something. It doesn't really translate well, but it makes sense in that context why he would turn him into a frog, but...
Yeah.
There's a little bit at the end that's a little different, I think. Or maybe I'm... Oh, no, there we go. So that's the tree that is at the top of Death Peak or whatever. Oh, and I guess they don't show up, but there's basically the credits roll down, and then there's a little like Chrono silhouette in the background, kind of implying that Marley was able to successfully resurrect him. But
that's cool. Yeah, I was gonna be like, "Where's that tree?" And of course, that's where it was.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's...
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Because otherwise, how are they supposed to get married and everything else?
Exactly, exactly. All right, so that is one ending. All right, moving on. So here is a YouTube video. Basically has all the other ones. So load that one up, and then fast forward to 28 minutes and 30 seconds, because we've already seen everything up till that point.
Did you say 28 minutes?
Yeah, 28 minutes, 30 seconds. Actually, you could go right there, and that'll be what you just saw.
Oh, sick.
Sky there.
Okay, oh yeah, I see. That's cool.
All right, so this ending is the this is like the super secret ending. This is what you get if you manage to beat Lavos in the Ocean Palace the first time. And this is like a secret developer ending where you just get to walk around the end of time and talk to NPCs, like representations of the game developers, and they kind of just give fun little commentary on the game development and that kind of stuff. Like they're all
Awesome.
they have some mildly interesting things to say, and it's just kind of a fun thing if you were able to finish that fight, which was designed to be on.
You actually can beat it.
Yeah, he doesn't just have like infinity health or whatever.
Yeah. More back rubs.
Yep. That must be why the news like their back scratched so much. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun little Easter egg. I don't even remember what our score was. I don't even remember there being a score involved in that process, but...
Nope. I thought it was just I won or I didn't.
Yeah.
Yep.
None of this renting of used games.
He spends time outside. Nah. How did he know we played it in the future?
Yeah. One thing I did want to remember to say, just being reminded me. Remember how we came back at one point and Specchio looked different? He looked like a big armored guy instead of
yeah,
koala.
I do remember.
Yeah, I looked up some stuff about Specchio just to see if there's anything worth talking about, and his physical appearance changed depending on what level your party is at. So like between levels 10 and 20 he looks like a koala, and then between 30 and 40 he looks like that armored guy. And then I think from like 60 to 90 he looks like Masamune when they're in their combined form, like the big muscular guy. But if you get to level 90 level cap, he turns into a pink new.
That's almost worth doing.
Yeah, it's a neat little trick. Yeah. He also has a form if you're below level 10 where he's just like a green frog, but I'm pretty sure it's impossible to get till the end of time.
That even made a bit there.
Yeah. I'd be impressed if you got there and you're that low level, but
yeah.
That's
okay.
Yep, that's a little weird.
It was pretty great.
It was great, yeah. Good job.
Yeah. So meta.
Yeah. Yeah, this gets pretty silly, but it's fun. Oh, Ken. Okay.
Oh, what?
All right.
No, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Cross promotion.
It's tough being a skeleton.
It is.
You'll get there one day. Oh, what?
One last
Why is
fight
there
sequence.
That's great. Oh, look there, they know what's up.
Yeah, of course.
They know what's up.
Some things never change.
I almost feel like it's me playing.
Yeah, it's true to life.
Mm-hmm.
They bother giving you money and experience.
Hey, shiny things. Get a shiny thing. Oh.
No thanks. Oh no, counting.
Oh boy. Wow, what a joker.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep. It'd be like, no, but I haven't talked to everyone yet.
Yeah, no, I gotta
went
beat.
back and talked to.
You gotta beat Lavos all over again. God damn it. Because I don't think they put a save point in here.
Nope. I don't know, I didn't see one. Oh, hey, there was an angel around there.
An angel?
Oh, not an angel. It made me think of like a stone angel. I only saw a glimpse of it. It's actually not.
Oh.
Oh, hey, you can jump straight over.
Yep.
Maybe.
Might be right.
It's hard to say.
That's fun.
Mm.
He's loving it, man.
Okay.
You gotta make your own. I think once you've talked to every other NPC, the Specchio's door opens. Or at least becomes unlocked. Who did he not talk to the new? Oh no, he has to talk to Gasper first.
Go through the door.
Yeah. You didn't miss anything, I swear. I don't know what that means.
Nope. Go through the door. Go through the. Hey.
They bothered to make sprites. There's Toriyama.
It's awesome.
I think that's Nobuo, yeah.
Oh. Whoa. What did she say?
I
Wait.
don't know.
It
I
was
tried
backwards.
to start reading, but
And read this.
God damn it, Nobuo. You fucking got us. Got us.
Mm-hmm. Yay!
Sick. Perfect.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. I think that's the first game I
Yeah,
remember.
it's the funny.
That's the first game I remember doing something kind of like meta like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Right, so now we move on to basically the rest of the endings are just like when you beat Lavos in the main story. So this is the first possible time you could fight Lavos, I think. So if you fight Lavos after rescuing Princess Lena in 600 AD with and Luca,
God, that's early.
but before going to the end of time for the first time. So
Right.
if you fight Lavos in that period, you get this ending, which is kind of funny.
I hear from. What?
Mm.
Are they all frogs?
I don't know.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess this rescuing her that
And now they're all like half frog or something.
they had some kind of marriage tryst, and that I guess that.
Oh, man. Wow, that's romantic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, what's this one?
So this is after you defeat Lavos after getting to the end of time for the first time, but before you get the hero's badge back from Tata in 600 when you get.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so after you get Robo, but basically before you go to the southern continent. I don't think this one isn't too interesting because it doesn't really have any weird implications. Yeah, I think this is just does some weird shit for the duration of the credits, but I don't know. I like news. News are cool.
And hey, there's frogs.
Yeah.
They were trying to fix up with bridges and everything.
Yeah. That frog, I think, is the spechiographic if you're under level 10.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it was the same frogs and.
Like, yeah, for like 12 more hours, and then.
Yeah, and then I went back and. Sweet frog.
Yep.
Dude.
Yeah.
He knows what's going on. He's got a good life.
The news not happy though.
Oh.
He just wants to take a nap, man. And this frog keeps fucking with him. And I was just dead.
No.
Without the Z's, he's sleeping forever. Oh,
Oh.
there he is.
Or not. Oh, poor new. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like mistletoe except for sleeping.
Exactly. God, I
You
wish
know,
that
the disease.
existed. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could do with some.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's happy.
Yep, there's enough Z's to go around.
It must have been fun to make.
Yeah. A little
was-
morale
that was
booster
really-
while they were struggling fixing bugs and other shit. It's a little silly. This one doesn't make any goddamn sense. This one...
Okay, so when do you get this one?
This, if you beat Lavos, after getting the hero's badge from Tata, but before you beat the Black Tyranno, when you go to 600
Oh,
to...
yeah.
Or wait, no, you beat it much later. But yeah, the first time you go to 600 or 65 million BC to get the redstone to reforge the Masamune, you fight Azala at some point. Oh, because he stole the gate key, right? And you need to get that back. So this
yeah.
is after you get the hero's badge, but before you beat Azala and get the gate key back. I think the song is like Robo's theme. I think it's like one of the best. Oh wait, is this still in the good night ending? My bad. I thought we went to the next one. I guess I wasn't paying attention.
I'm sure we did.
Did we?
It said,
Maybe we did.
it
It said the
I'm
end.
sure it did.
Okay.
Wait.
But,
It's
okay.
new
All right.
ending.
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine.
Okay.
I just forgot that Robo was involved. Oh, that is pretty funny. Like, two in a sec. You have to see a little more of what Robo gets up to when he gets back to the future.
It's like the bell.
Yeah. Kind of recreating the beginning of the game, but with a Robo. Atropos doesn't drop a
That's
pendant
pretty
though,
cute.
so yeah.
This one is no epic flying of a distance though.
No. Well, you don't have the epic at this point in the story,
No.
so... And if your mom went and chased a cat into the time portal, you'd just be shit out of luck. So I like to assume that Tata's dad was like so pushy that he somehow got Tata elected king of Guardia.
Oh golly, because he's still got that badge.
Yep.
Oh, that's so bad.
Yeah. Basically, if you beat Lavos at any point before the end of the main story, you have fucked something up.
Oh god. He's gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, he's gonna go fight Magus and get destroyed.
Ah!
Oh, what?
Oh!
Yeah, I don't really know what that implies. If like it means Magus never seized power because he never he probably never bothered to because Lavos was already destroyed before. He would have no reason to summon Lavos in Magus's castle because Lavos would be dead already, I guess, is the point. So Chrono and team just kind of, I guess. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, whatever.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Okay, so this is if you beat Lavos after getting the gate key back from Azala, but before you get Melkor to reforge the Masamune.
Okay.
I think this might actually be the dumbest one. We should know who worked on Chrono Trigger by heart at the end of this process.
I know, right? After watching it so many times.
Yeah.
Recognition! Hey!
Good old closet portal.
Mm-hmm. Beat Lavos and come out the closet portal. Nice. They're just making me lunch.
Yep, whatever.
Oh. Got programmers for everything.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Still hanging around.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we never faced him.
Ooh. At least it's not Tata.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the implication there starts to get kind of fucked up, because, like, if you fuck the Masamune, then presumably
that's
for him
like
to...
a sad...
Yeah, it's just a sad frog. There's no way for him to
Forever.
reforge it, because he can't go back in time and get the Dreamstone, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, the next one will, what's I gonna think? Baruga's here for some comedy.
I love River.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Actually, yeah, I don't know about this one. I know it's definitely okay. I think it's probably after reforging the Masamune, but before you give it to Frog, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this one kind of sucks. I think it's just like it shows you just sprite art for the entire credits, so it's kind of dumb.
Okay.
Nothing too interesting story related here, unfortunately. Because it is kind of a weird like sequence to fight Lavos in. Like,
yeah,
you would have to be trying pretty hard to like go through all that to reforge the Masamune and then not give it to Frog, but I guess you could do it.
I can't believe like people went and found all these endings. Like that's tough to fight levels at that point.
Yeah.
At any of these earlier points.
Yeah, I think
someone was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna go do it. Well, I don't care about the main storyline. I can end the game.
Right. Yeah, I think it's related to like every time your save file changes, like that's when you're in a slot for a new Lavos fight and a new ending from that, I guess.
Yeah, that would make sense. Frogs.
I mean, it's nice sprite art. I'll give him that. That's all good looking stuff.
Hey, really?
Yeah, what an unsatisfying ending, if that's what you had. Okay, so this is... yeah. After you give the Frog the Masamune back, but before you defeat Magus, so this one is actually pretty significant. This might be my favorite of the, like, secondary endings or whatever.
Bloody Chrono.
Mm-hmm. Lazy bones. Some unfinished business. God damn it, bro.
Ooh. Oh boy.
Yeah. Frog just shit alone into Magus's keep.
Yep. Those dirtbags.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to assume this is like what happened in the original timeline before Chrono and team came back and helped. But, I mean, it seems like he's doing alright. He appears to have beat Ozzy, Flea, and Slash on his own.
Yeah.
Sans Masamune, but if you recall, defeating Magus kind of required the Masamune, so...
Yeah. Frog's a badass all on his own.
Yeah. I mean, props to him for getting that far, but...
Yep.
I don't see this ending well for him.
I mean, he does seem pretty evil, supposedly for a good purpose.
Well, he doesn't have to do it anymore, because we just beat Lavos, so...
Yeah, that's true. So now he's just straight up evil.
Right. Oh, apparently Frog got the Masamune somehow.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Stinger at the end here. Figure stands on top of Magus's keep.
Ooh.
But who? I don't know. I kind of assumed that Frog did not survive that encounter and that Magus went on to do shit. I don't know.
Be evil.
I guess he would never summon. I don't know. That could be Frog. Whatever. Kind of ambiguous. All right. So this is after you defeat Magus, but before you beat the Black Tyranno. After you get thrown back to 600 or 65 million. Yep, that's right. If you don't defeat the Black Tyranno, the reptiles win the war in prehistory, and and everyone becomes a reptile.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh god, my mother is so ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, so am I. Makes my cat looks normal.
Yeah, they still, of course, they'll still have cats for pets. Reptiles gotta cook breakfast too.
Yep. Oh boy. The cat looks happy to see me at least.
Mm-hmm.
What up, guys?
Just head down to the dinosaur for a pint. And remember how there was a dinosaur runner in the like the racing people? Now it's a human that's in the,
yeah, I was like, hey, there's a human there.
Yeah.
What a
It's become their slave.
Oh god. It's reptile love at first sight.
It really was. They couldn't tell. In Chrono Cross, there's actually Chrono Cross talks a lot about like alternate timelines that never were and that kind of stuff. It explicitly mentions an alternate timeline where like Lavos never hit Earth and the Dino people ended up winning the war against the humans, and they became like super technologically advanced and super smart. Because like Azala talks with like super good English and says all these fancy words, and all the humans talk like Ayla, so they're vastly superior to the humans. But Lavos like lands on their base and kills them all. So that's like the only reason.
This ending.
Yeah, that's the only reason humans prevailed in prehistory is because Lavos the dinosaurs and killed them all. Oh, did we go to the next one when I wasn't looking? Yeah, so this is
Must have, yeah, it's not titling them anymore.
Right. So this one is called What the Prophet Seeks, and this happens if you defeat the Black Tyranno, but before you like finish the Ocean Palace quest. Basically after the Black Tyranno, but before Chrono, or no, actually after you beat the Black Tyranno, but before you go to the Ocean Palace, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
This is also one of my. Actually, I might like this one better than the frog goes to Magus' castle one.
Indians that involve good ones.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Right, so in the game you wouldn't have seen any of this at that point.
Right. Yeah, there hasn't been the reveal that Magus is the prophet yet at this point. Or that he is actually Janus, Shala's brother.
Yeah. It was quite a bit later. Yep, of course Ayla can do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, point. Technically everything has been resolved, but Magus is still is in order to save Shala. So like the world is saved, everyone in the Chrono team is, you know, happy and whatever, but Magus' quest is still not resolved.
Still unresolved. Yeah. Yeah, it's in this storyline.
Yeah, it's deceptively complicated if you really sit down and start to think about it. Like,
Yeah.
they do a good job of like wrapping it up pretty nice and putting a bow on everything, but yeah, when we in a little bit about Chrono Cross, there's actually quite a few questions. Actually, not even unanswered questions, unasked questions, which is
Okay, yeah.
why I think why it appears to wrap up so nicely, because they just don't even ask about the stuff that's not
Some things.
totally resolved. So Magus goes off to stop the Maimon machine and try to fight Lavos, and probably that doesn't go well, because it didn't go well for us. And
he's probably no stronger.
yeah, one that you can get in this kind of way. This is like after you get to if you go to the Ocean Palace, but you don't finish out the Ocean Palace chain of things before.
Right, you go there and you're just like, whatever, I'm gonna leave and go.
Yeah, this is basically between you entering the Ocean Palace and Chrono getting killed is when you can get this ending.
Yeah.
This one's actually, this one's pretty good.
It's true.
Yeah, at this point you really missed a lot of important shit in the Ocean Palace, but
yeah, you did, because there were some good twists there.
yeah, they kind of dump the entire plot of the game on you there. That's alright, we got Marley and Luca. And they're just gonna talk about they're gonna talk about girl shit for a little bit. They just like start rating all of the boys in the game.
I mean, it's if you're not wrong.
Yeah. Jeez.
I never had on my party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's because he's always hungry.
Yeah, he's from a post-apocalyptic future.
Sorry, he can't be any more cheerful.
Mm-hmm. Just not feeling the magic.
Hey.
Guy.
Owned. Owned.
Wow.
He got shot down. Hey, Cyrus. Yeah, that's why he and Frog hang out.
Mm-hmm. Luca's just ready to go, man. Yeah, give it up, ladies. Well, yes.
It's true, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like it. I mean, yes.
Chrono speaks! Just to scold them.
You mean lots of boys?
Alright, well that's fun. Alright, go ahead and pause the video, because
Okay.
Dream's Epilogue is the extra ending that was added for the DS version. So, in order to understand anything that happens here, we gotta know some things, I guess, first. So we're gonna have to talk a little bit about Chrono Cross, but before we can even talk about Chrono Cross, we have to talk about something else, something called Radical Dreamers. So I'm just from the wiki page for Radical Dreamers right now. Radical Dreamers is a video game produced by Square in 1996 for the Satellaview add-on for the Nintendo Super Famicom. Radical Dreamers and other Satellaview titles were planned to be released at the Akihabara Electronics District of Tokyo. Square also tried to integrate it into the Japanese PlayStation port of Chrono Trigger as an Easter egg. Writer and director Masato Kato both releases unhappy with the quality of his work. The game was never officially released abroad. Masato Kato, scriptwriter for Chrono Trigger, wrote Radical Dreamers after Chrono Trigger's release, feeling that Trigger concluded with, quote, unfinished.
Indeed.
So that's kind of what I was going back to earlier, that I find that to be a weird statement, because I feel like it doesn't really end with unfinished business. It ends, like,
no.
like perfectly.
It
like,
appears to wrap up well.
Yeah, you kill Lavos, you save the future, all of your friends go back to their proper time streams to live out the rest of their life in peace. Fine. So, yeah. It doesn't... There aren't any questions that it leaves hanging open. Like, the one thread that they kind of left open is when, if you let Magus live, at the end there, Marley's like, so you're going to look for Shala or something, right? And
yeah, so you don't know if he ever finds her, but that's about it.
Right, and he says nothing and just disappears. So it's not... They don't really, like... hit you over the head with it. They just, that's like literally one line of dialogue is all you hear about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's this game Radical Dreamers that Masato Kato made, which is sort of like a complimentary, it was kind of a graphical text adventure. Like, there were graphics, but it was but anyway, so he wrote that because he felt like there were plot threads that were not fully tied up in Chrono Trigger. And I've kind of gone through and tried to think of, like, some of the questions you might think are unanswered if you've only played Chrono Trigger for the first time. So a lot of these are touched on in Radical Dreamers and actual sequel. So one is, like, what happens in this new future that Chrono and company have created, right? Because if we've stopped Lavos from destroying the world in the year 1999, then, I mean, Luca kind of touched on that in the ending. We saw that Robo is going back to a future
to a different future where he probably wasn't created in the first place.
Right, so we don't, we know what it won't be. It won't be that post-apocalyptic volcanic mess that we saw.
Which is good for them, because,
Right, and as far as we know, the only thing that we've changed is things that happen after 1999, right? Like, Chrono's from the year 1000, so that's a 999-year window where Lavos wasn't doing anything anyway, right? So all of that should probably be the same as it was in the new timeline, even though Lavos is gone. A big window of time for things to have happened that we don't really get to know about in the game. And also, what happens to timelines that become erased, right? Like, where does the future that we saw in Chrono Trigger, like, what happens to that? Do all those people just, like, blink out of existence, or...
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't, because Robo still existed.
Robo still existed, right? And Luca brought the chief from one of the domes back to be like, when she did her role, these are your ancestors thing, so...
Oh, yeah.
Right, so what does it mean for those people to still exist, even though that future has been changed forever or whatever? So there's that.
Crossing of timelines. Clearly we've got parallel lines.
Right, yeah.
Which we decided that you couldn't have in Primer. Oh boy.
Right, so yeah, it's not, they don't make it super clear what rules of time travel Chrono Trigger follows, but I looked at some Chrono Cross stuff, and I'm gonna read this. I don't think this is really a spoiler, but at one point in Chrono Cross you find a letter of the characters in Chrono. It reads this, quote, perhaps you already know, or perhaps you yourself are also now caught up in some historic crisis as a result of all this. But anyway, a long time ago, we, my friends and I that is, changed the future in order to from being devoured by Lavos, a monster from some unknown planet. We still feel proud of the role we played in saving our world, and in how we were so freely able to change the flow of time, but sometimes I think of the darker side of what we did. What has become of the future that was once supposed to have existed? Where did this time that is no longer allowed to exist go? It is true that thanks to our altering of the flow of history, we were able to save so many lives and prevent so much sadness and suffering. But when you think of it, we also have a new suffering further along in this new future that we created. Dread in my heart that someone in our new future will travel back in time just like we did and try and kill or capture my friends and me. So, that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
So speaking of people that might want revenge, another plot thread that is not fully resolved is whatever happened to Dalton? The last time we saw Dalton was we were fighting him on the Blackbird, and in a total Dalton move, he activated a portal to summon his golem boss, but he got sucked into the portal and disappeared. And we don't know where he ended up.
I guess it was the end of him.
Yeah, and in the...
I just assume he wound up in some useless place and conquered Vim and lived out his days.
Right, yeah, we don't know where the fuck he went. Probably to do Dalton thing. In this version, you never see him. In the DS version, in one of those dimensional things that we unlocked in our playthrough, you find Dalton again. So I'm going to link you a video and that up. Keep this tab with Dreams Epilogue open, but just, we'll come back to that in a second. This video ends to Dalton. So yeah, I guess all the dimensional vortex in this like weird misty room. A boss fight. This guy's got some good equipment.
Solid. A little. Once King Dalton.
Yeah.
I like how that's his name.
Yep, that's pretty good. In this strategy, I think.
I know, right? Yeah. I was... What? This party is pretty well leveled.
Yeah. Get wrecked, Dalton.
That's what you get.
retreats, vowing go to Pore, which is the continent south of where Chrono lives. Pore is like where Tata was. So he vows to go to Pore and raise a huge army and wipe Guardia, Chrono's kingdom, off the map. So we'll just keep that in mind.
Wonderful.
Yep. All right. So that's what Dalton gets up to. So what other questions do we not know about? They kind of hinted at this in Chrono Trigger proper, but there's a question of like who is responsible for the creation of all the time gates. Like they think at first that it has that like Lavos is somehow creating them.
Maybe they start saying that someone else must have,
right?
Because they wanted them to experience these things, but they never really hinted at who it could be.
Right. Some third party has created these gates, presumably to like assist Chrono's team storing order to the world or something like that. I never really get into that.
I guess that's true. That wasn't really that, but yeah.
Right. Another important one is how exactly did the prehistory humans like come to discover and control magic, right? Like how did it jump from prehistory to what we see when we go to Zeal? Presumably it has something to do with the Mammon machine, but they never really make clear how the Mammon machine works. Like it has something to do with siphoning Lavos' power, but like how did they build the Mammon machine? What does it do? All that kind of stuff. I think it's pretty heavily implied in the game that has to do with why people have magic, is like they took Lavos' energy and somehow used the Mammon machine to harness it for people, and that's what gives people magic.
People have got a little bit of Lavos in them.
Right, exactly. But yeah, like the exact mechanism by which that happens is not super clear. Important one, the one that I think the most people care about and is most clearly pointed at in the story, is what the SNES version of the game.
I mean, that's one that was kind of hinted at the end.
Right. Yeah, in the SNES version, the last we see her is at the incident, and then it's like you just killed in the we never see or hear from her again. Yeah, so maybe now would be a good time to go back to the Dreams Eclipse. Dimensional vortexes in Chrono Trigger, and then you go to the bucket at the end of time, and there's a new option there, and it says, do you want to go to the Day of Lavos, or do you want to go to Time's Eclipse? And this is what happens when you go to Time's Eclipse.
Okay.
You fight Lavos with Shala. Yep.
Oh boy.
This is like after the fight, so you have a fight with him, and then this happens. Magus turns up.
Well, Shala's ending isn't very good.
Yeah. So basically, but are not able to actually defeat it.
Yeah.
And Magus goes emo pretty hard at this point. and Magus gets amnesia.
Happier this way.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like that was Shala's intention, was to stop him from going on his never-ending quest to free her, because it's impossible at this point.
Yeah.
So now it shows the credits that we saw when we won, but there's a new little thing at the end. Maybe if you want to just skip forward to that, it'll be towards the end. It just shows all that concept art that we saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably good, actually.
Interesting.
Lot to unpack there. Basically, it implies that Dalton was indeed successful at militarizing, having it invade Guardia, deposing the Guardian, like, royal family, and apparently stealing the Masamune.
Masamune too.
Yeah.
What a bastard.
Yep. Fucking Dalton. No shit. Yeah, so,
yeah, he's the true antagonist of this game.
Indeed. So there's that, and then there's the whole stuff with Shala.
Yeah, really, Shala got absorbed into Lavos.
Yeah, in Chrono Cross they get more into the mechanics of how that really happened and why that's significant. I don't know that I can explain it, but I'm gonna try. So, Chrono Cross basically says that when time is changed and like timelines become rendered moot because history has changed before it. So let's take the apocalyptic future, that place and that time, so that the Day of Lavos never happened, goes to a place called the Darkness Beyond Time. So everything that's ever been eliminated from Time Stream is there. Shala goes there after the incident of the Ocean Palace, I guess because she's like obliterated from the power of Lavos or something. Or she's just so magic that she can't truly be killed. I'm not entirely sure. Shala ends up there somehow. And that sucks for Magus, but is fine for, you know, it's not bad that she's there necessarily. But when we defeat Lavos, all of those Lavos spawn that were on Death Peak in the future when we went to resurrect Chrono, all of those Lavos spawn also end up in the Darkness Beyond Time. And there they fuse together into, in this game, what's called the Dream Devourer, which is like an intermediate stage between Lavos and the final boss of Chrono Trigger, which is called the Time Devourer. And that's... except instead of wanting to blow up Earth, he wants to blow up time itself. And so the kind of backstory of Chrono Cross, the non-Lavos future, Balthazar, the guru of whatever, who gets sent there after the incident in the Ocean Palace, in our time, he was the one who built the Epic. We never met him. We only talked to him through like a new that he had somehow transferred his conscience into. But Balthazar... Right, exactly. But Balthazar still ends up there after the Ocean Palace, but now it's not the bleak post-apocalyptic future. It's like a normal, technologically advanced future. Like we saw, for example, in the bad ending and the Day of Lavos ending, we kind of got a glimpse that, like, in the year 1999, things looked pretty technological, I presume, or the same kind of domes we saw when we went there to get Robo. So Balthazar ends up there, and actually has like resources and other people, and through his research he somehow uncovers that there is such a thing as the Darkness Beyond Time, and that Shala and Lavos spawn have ended up there, and that they are fusing together, and they are threatening the stability of space-time. Hatches this incredibly complex plan that leads to the events of Chrono Cross, which lead to a bunch of things happening to put the protagonist of Chrono Cross in a position where he can defeat the Time Devourer. So...
Right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So that's that. I guess that's all you really need to know. One thing I think I like to do is Wikipedia has a plot summary for Radical Dreamers, which was that like game that never got released in the States.
Yeah.
I don't think we can consider it canon in the Chrono universe, if you will. Like it mentioned, the writer Masato Kato like went to every length possible to like block it from being released in places outside of Japan because he thought the quality just wasn't good. But a lot of the plot elements from Radical Dreamers kind of got recycled into Chrono Cross a bit. So while it's a good way to like get a crash course in what happens in Chrono Cross without actually getting spoiled, because it doesn't happen precisely the way it does in Radical Dreamers. But so I'll just read this. So Radical Dreamers features 3 protagonists, Surge, Kid, and Megal, who seek out treasure as venturesome, reputable thieves. The young adult narrator Surge, who meets 3 years ago in a remote town, possessing a turbulent history. Kid dubiously fancies herself as a kind of Robin Hood. Megal is an enigmatic, handsome, masked man skilled in magic who rarely speaks and can fade into shadows at will. Blue hair, Megal accompanied Kid well before Surge joined the group. Together they seek out the Frozen Flame, a mythic artifact capable of granting any wish. It is hidden in Viper Manor, the home of a terrible and powerful aristocrat named Lynx, who gained control of the estate after usurping power and killing the Acacia Dragoons, a familial unit of warriors who lived there previously. Following Kuhn, Megal explains that the Frozen Flame is a fragment of the massive extraterrestrial creature known as Lavos, splintered off when Lavos impacted the planet in prehistory and burrowed to its core. The thieves locate Lynx and the Frozen Flame deep within the underground ruin of the Kingdom of Zeal, an ancient airborne civilization which was destroyed after it awakened Lavos in search of immortality. Surge discovers that Kid is an orphan, hoping to exact revenge upon Lynx for killing her caretaker, Luca. Kid attempts to find Lynx in her childhood after Luca's death, but then accompanied her thereafter as her protector. The trio battle Lynx for the Frozen Flame. Lynx gains the upper hand after trapping Megal with a powerful spell. He plans to acquire Kid's special gift from Luca, a time egg or Chrono Trigger. With the time egg and the Frozen Flame, Lynx boasts that he shall be able to achieve control over time. Kid lunges at him, but Lynx easily parries her attacks and wounds her. She desperately removes the Chrono Trigger from her back pocket. The trigger shatters and causes a localized temporal distortion, leading Surge to see various scenes in history. As Princess Shala of Zeal, who was coerced into help awakening Lavos with her magical power, as Zeal...
Wait, what?
Hang on. As Zeal collapsed, Shala was racked with guilt and anguish for her role in the incident. Frozen Flame felt her grief, changed her into a baby, and sent her to found her. It is also circumstantially revealed that Megal is in fact Magus, Shala's wayward brother, who searched for her after Lavos and Chrono Trigger. Once the distortion subsides, an army from Pore, a large nation in the south, also in search of the Frozen Flame, storms the mansion. Lynx withdraws as Surge, Kid, and Megal flee. Kid tells Surge that she is now aware of her true origin, knowing that the Frozen Flame is a treasure which cannot be stolen. She bids him goodbye before disappearing into the darkness with Megal. So, a lot to unpack there. So the baby that we saw at the end of the cutscene and our ending is Shala, who, I guess more accurately, a clone of Shala, which she was able to create. Some people theorize that the fight with the Dream Devourer that we just watched, like, even though it wasn't successful at killing it, it like allowed Shala a moment of lucidity with which she could like project her energy into the real world and form the baby. I don't...
Interesting.
Right, so ends this clone daughter of Shala in the woods shortly after the events of Chrono Trigger. Daughter, I think Luca knows what's going on somehow. I'm not sure how she figures it out. Maybe they talk about it in Chrono Trigger.
Cookie.
She's a smart cookie. She would have figured it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's what that whole baby was about. I mean, I guess they kind of made it pretty clear in the cinematic because they went to great lengths that the baby had a pendant on that was glowing, but
yeah, which
yeah, I don't know. It gets really fucking weird when you get outside of Chrono Trigger the game. Yeah, Chrono Cross.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's feasible.
Right. It's just a lot of like time travel is complicated, but you can at least there's some logic to it, but some just weird magical shit that doesn't make any sense. That it's just like, okay, I guess. I mean, if you say so.
I guess that can happen. Yeah,
right. Yeah. It's Chrono Cross is a real bummer like that. Like I'm kind of tepid on it. I think if it was a standalone game, like if it was not called Chrono anything, like it would be just a fine JRPG with some weird ideas about space time and that kind of stuff. You don't actually do any time travel in Chrono Cross, which is the weird thing.
Okay.
It's kind of conceit. Yeah, it is a little bit. It has its conceit is that like about 10 minutes into the game, the protagonist has a thing happen to him where he has like a near-death experience, and then he goes back to his home, and nobody knows who he is, and like he goes into his house, and his mom doesn't live there anymore, and they're like, oh, that woman, she moved away 10 years ago after her son died or something, and you're like, what? And so
okay, right, yeah,
there's
so
like
jump forward in time 10 years.
Right, there's like a parallel he has found his way into where he died at that moment instead of living, and it's sort of weird. You kind of go back and forth between the two planes because there's like some things that are different in one than the other, and so sometimes to solve puzzles you have to like go to one version of it and then come back to the other version. It's kind of weird. But yeah, it's like it's not a bad bolt on. All the like references to Chrono Trigger in it made it worse, I think, and it retroactively makes Chrono Trigger worse, which pisses me off. Yeah, I think it's worth playing, but fuck, it just gets really weird and super confusing. And for a long time I really hated it because it pissed me off that it wasn't as good as Chrono Trigger. And then a quote by Masato Kato, the scriptwriter, and this kind of just turned me around on it a little bit. He says to directly extend Chrono Trigger into a sequel, but Chrono with links to the original. Yes, the platform changed, and yes, there were many parts that changed dramatically from the previous work, but in my view, the whole point in making Chrono Cross was to make Chrono with the best available skills and technology of Trigger and moving it into the PlayStation console. That's why I believe that Cross is Cross and not Trigger 2. So that's kind of an interesting way to look at it, I guess. Less of a sequel, more of a spiritual successor, which I'd kind of buy.
I could get behind that a little.
Yeah, which I'd kind of buy, except that there are like a bunch of tiny references to Chrono Trigger that just fuck up the whole backstory.
But it's trying to be a sequel.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's I think everything that we need to know about Chrono Trigger, Radical Dreamers, aka the game that never came out in a playable state in the States or anywhere else. I think there is a fan translation of Radical Dreamers out somewhere, but fuck that. That's not real. And then Chrono Cross. I don't know. I haven't decided whether or not I think we should play Chrono Cross. I'm kind of leaning towards no, because I've only beat it. I think I've only beat it once, so I'm not going to be very useful in a like, oh, here's what you have to go do kind of a way.
Yeah, that's barely useful at all.
Yeah, I do think it is everyone worth playing once, so I don't know. I'll have to think about it, but we definitely have some more pressing games on the list to get to.
Yeah, it can it's like a maybe down for bottom of the list.
Yeah, and we need some time to digest Chrono Trigger, I think, before you jump
definitely.
into it.
I wouldn't want to jump straight into it.
Yeah, you have to really be at the top of your mental game in order to follow what happens in Chrono Cross. It's just a bunch of fucking nonsense, but Whatever. Whatever.
You're
man.
really selling it.
Japanese RPGs were in a weird state around that time. It was like, like Xenogears and a bunch of other games started getting into some pretty far off, like, pseudo-philosophical territory with the stuff it was trying to deal with. But everyone should play it at least once. I don't think it is worthy of the Chrono name. I'll just say that. But yeah, I think that's it. I think we've seen everything Chrono Trigger that we needed to see. So
We've officially completed Chrono Trigger.
Yep, we have all the infos about it, and even a little bit more than we would have wanted.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, I kind of agonized. I kind of wish now I just let you have Chrono Trigger and not make you watch the Devour ending and all that shit, because I don't know.
It's pretty weird, but I mean, the Chrono Trigger experience itself is still unchanged.
Right. Yeah, I think as long as you just view everything that you killed Lavos as like
as a kind of like
like a side story, or like think of it as fan fiction, maybe is a good way to do that.
Yeah.
Fan fiction that was written by the makers of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's
after the game, so
right, exactly. It's basically the equivalent
in a
of
different
like
mental place. It's essentially fan fiction.
Right. I view it as the equivalent of like George Lucas re-releasing the original Star Wars movies and adding a bunch of stupid CGI effects where they went before. Like, creators should not be allowed to go back to their original works and church them up later on, because it's a fucking bummer. But yeah, so that's Chrono Trigger, and a little bit of tease into Chrono Cross if we ever get around to that.
Yeah, maybe one day.
How do you feel having seen all those alternative endings? Was it worth it?
Well, I did wonder what happened to Shala, and I guess I know.
Do you though?
Man, I mean, I know what someone thought happened to her.
We know she gets absorbed by Lavos, and we know in what we've seen, we have no idea that the baby Luca found was Shala. You could probably kind of infer it because it had the pendant or whatever, but they make no attempt to explain
why.
It was
kind of confusing.
Right. Even if
really
you were like,
made
is that Shala, you'd have no concept of how or why that came to be. But
yeah, I'd just be like, what?
Yeah.
But no, all the endings, it was definitely worth seeing them. Some of them are pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some fun little Easter eggs in a lot of those. So a good bang for your buck in terms of value of this game. There's a lot of
definitely. Yeah, I'm actually just really impressed that that they did that. Like, it's interesting. I can't think. I'm sure there can't have been many or any other games which did that. Like, just let you beat the final boss at a myriad of points in the game. And
yeah. It's
give you different endings for it.
It's pretty crazy that you can like fight the final boss like an hour into the game. I mean, granted, if it's your first playthrough,
like normally
you're gonna get
in a game you'd try to do that and it would tell you to fuck off. Like there'd be some kind of gate, or you just couldn't do it for some reason.
Right. You could like, even if you could go to where the final boss was, there would be like some magic gate that was like, no, you have to collect the 10 magic crystals before you can get in here. But in Chrono Trigger, it's just like, oh, you want to fight the final boss? All right. Come in this bucket,
sure.
See what happens, fucker, and then you get wrecked, and then you're like, oh, I guess that's why I don't do that.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool that it lets you do that.
Yeah, I feel like it was ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a game about time travel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. Had to get one dad joke in there. Well, shit, yeah, so I think that's Chrono Trigger done and dusted.
Oh, I feel kind of sad, but it's all finally over.
It is. It's in the books, and we'll never hear from it again. You can always go back and play it. That's like, the great thing about emulation.
But there's nothing new. I'm finished the storyline. I've done everything.
Right.
There's no new character.
That's the thing that will eventually drive you to play Chrono Cross, I suspect, is that it may not happen tomorrow, it may not happen a month from now, but at some point you'll be like, I gotta get some more of that Chrono in my bloodstream, and it'd be like, ah, how bad could this be? And then you'll load it up, and you'll be like, what is even happening right now?
And I'll start to regret everything, and
Yeah, but
you reconsider my life choices, which led me to that point in time.
Yep, but you'll 12 hours into it. I can't go back now, and then yeah. Yeah, there was a bit of a hubbub a couple years back where somebody noticed that the term chrono break got like registered as a trademark in the States, and everyone was like, oh, are they gonna make another one? Oh my god, and then they never did. So
That they could in the future.
yeah, I don't know if how long ago that was, if like the trademark is run out or anything, but yeah,
I think trademarks last for sure. It's kind of like how every 5 years people are like, oh hey, Square's gonna remake Final Fantasy VII. Oh no, they're not.
well, now they actually are, so I guess we
Oh,
just
I
have
know.
to
I
wait
wish they
long.
wouldn't.
Me too.
No, it's like need to be bad.
If-
Ugh.
no
It'll
matter-
ruin it. Like if I
yeah.
play it, it'll retroactively ruin the original game, which I really liked, even if you don't like me for it.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, I don't like Final Fantasy VII very much. I think if they were gonna remake a Final Fantasy game, that's not a good one to make. I know it's insanely popular, but I feel like everybody who thinks they want it actually wants to go back to when they were 12 and played that game for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I had a brief moment of, oh, you know, like many, many years ago, I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if they remade it. But then, I don't know, I just, I mean, yes,
Why?
we would do it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it would.
Yes, if you played, I mean, even if you went back and played Final Fantasy VII right now, I think you would be like, oh wow, this isn't as good as I remember. Like, no, I don't think the systems have aged well. The graphics definitely haven't aged well, but presumably
The
they'll be
graphics
fixing
definitely have not aged well.
that. Yeah,
It would have done better with like older, more sprite style graphics, to be honest. But I guess it was testing for boundaries.
The PlayStation 1
So,
was a weird time for
I can forgive it
JRPGs
for
because
that.
they were all trapped in this weird, like, polygonal graphics that they didn't quite know how to pull off right.
Yeah, I mean, the
Cross
graphics
kind
were
of
better and
sucked.
but
Yeah, I thought 8 had, I mean, they weren't great graphics. It was still pretty, but
it was a solid improvement of Final Fantasy VII, which
people's heads weren't just like two triangles bolted together. So
were just two squares with a skinny cylinder in the middle.
I don't know, but yeah,
I don't know. They both had super emo characters though. Good grief.
Yeah, I guess they did, but Squall always felt like he leaned more into it.
Yeah, he was just kind of for no reason, really.
Yeah, I don't know.
Really emo. I mean, Cloud had some kind of weird, fucked up past, so I guess I can forgive him that.
Right. Yeah, I don't. Anyway, I don't know.
Anyway.
We're done. We're done with Chrono Trigger. Long may it live.
Yeah. So possibly one day, probably not.
Another one. Like, I would be amazed if anybody could even write a script that would like connect to the previous two games in any meaningful way. Like, it's the fiction becomes so fucking insane that, like, I don't even know how you would make that game. Like, what would the story of that game even be?
Yeah, like, it would have to be more or less a successor of a sequel.
Right, yeah, if it was just...
In the same way that the Final Fantasy games have very little resemblance to each other in terms of storyline.
Yeah, if it was just, like, a JRPG
it's just kind of some motifs which carry through.
Just a JRPG that had time travel as an element, and the story was in no way related to... Fine.
Yeah. I think that's the only way they could possibly do it.
Yeah. But at that point, it's kind of like, why bother hooking it to the baggage of Chrono? Like, why not just call it anything else? And free yourself from the inevitable comparisons to the previous two games.
Yeah, the inevitable disappointment.
Yeah, but, yeah, and because it had the development team behind it, it had the best,
which been
literally
gonna have
the best
a
and brightest. Yeah, that there won't be that kind of conflux of talent and I would say probably any video game ever again, but certainly not for if another Chrono game got made, you would not get those guys back, and yeah, so it would just be a pale shadow, unfortunately. So
yeah,
it's kind of I kind
of
of like to think of it like Fire It got bad, so we just have like a season of Telch with the blemish of like 4 or 5 seasons that were mediocre.
Yeah, inevitably getting worse and worse.
Right. So I am super happy to let Chrono Trigger again. So.
Yeah, I think so. Because at some point, all you're doing is just dragging it on, stretching it out.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what we discovered through Chrono Cross, was we thought we wanted this sequel to Chrono Trigger, and they were like, all right, here you go. And then we were like, oh, we don't want this. Never mind. Never mind. We
take it all back.
We were wrong. Doesn't make any fucking sense anymore. So, yeah. So, I think that's a good case study on why there should not be any more Chrono games. Chrono Cross does have some really cool features. Its like main kind of thing is that a majority of the named NPCs you encounter in the game are recruitable into your party. Unfortunately, that kind of comes at the cost of like not having a lot of meaningful character development for any of those characters, because like you'd have to like in Chrono Trigger they had it where they had to write dialogue depending on who you brought where and that kind of stuff. And doing that
which I think is really
yeah, it's super cool that they bothered to put in that effort, but when you have 40 characters, that's pretty much impossible. So, but it was a neat idea.
Feasible. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I really like the character development in Chrono Trigger.
And whoever localized it did a fucking bang up job.
I'm just so impressed. Like, I don't know how people make games so good.
You know, all my life, people who have been on the periphery of my life have been like, you like video games so much, why don't you make them? And I'm like, well, it's fucking hard to do that, by the way. And just because I know when I like one doesn't mean I have any sense of how to make a good one. So, yeah, good job to the people who do that, because that must be fucking difficult. Yeah, it's like, you know,
your average Joe who watches movies and has certain favorite movies, but that doesn't mean he knows how to make a good movie.
Right.
That's fucking difficult.
I just know if the... Chrono Trigger is finished. This Let's Play is finished. So now, what's next? It's been great. It has been great, but let's set our sights to the future that's free of Lavos. And what are we gonna do next?
Well, you had a couple of choices.
I do have a couple. I have a big list of games that I think might be good. Yeah, there's a lot of games. I was thinking probably where we would go next is over to the PlayStation Portable, where we might play either Persona 3 or Valkyrie Profile.
Well, I've again heard of both of them, so
yeah, I'm kind of agonizing over which to play. I won't lie, I really want to play Persona 3 with you. I have to know if you like that game or not, but I am a little worried that you might hate it. I can see a world in which you think it's stupid and don't want more of it, and I'm really nervous about that. I think you'll like it. I mean, I think it's a really good game, and so far, you know, between Earthbound and Chrono Trigger, I feel like you can probably take me at my word on that, but
yeah,
I can definitely imagine somebody not liking Persona 3. I pity that. I feel bad for him. So.
You don't want to pity me.
I don't want to pity you. I would be heartbroken on your behalf if we got like 2 hours into Persona 3 and you were like, "This is just kind of dumb. I don't want to play anymore." I would be really upset by that. So I feel like Valkyrie Profile would be a safer bet, but I'm also not as big of an expert on that game. So I think the smart thing to do might be to
give it a go.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is
expose your heartstrings.
Well, yeah, we'll take that chance, and while we're playing that, I might try to play through Valkyrie Profile on the side, just so I can remember all of the stuff that I'll need to help explain to you when you go through. Because I've only beaten that game once. Be too helpful. It is definitely worth playing, though. It has some of the best writing in a video game that I've ever seen.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm thinking one of those two. When I've been putting things together, I was also thinking that we're coming up pretty soon. It'll be October in a couple months, and I was thinking that it might be funny to play.
Oh my god, it will be. Wait,
yeah,
yes,
I know, right?
No.
Well,
October's like 6 months. Hey.
It's coming.
Oh, it's not.
It's
oh god, we're more than halfway through 2015. Anyway,
I know. Jesus Christ, where does the time go?
Where did it go?
Every year I get older, and every year goes by faster, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? I'm worried that I'm gonna be like
Seriously.
40, and a year is just gonna like I'm gonna go to bed and I'm gonna wake up and it'll have been another year, and I'll be like, what?
You'll be 41.
Yeah. Ugh. Anyway.
And like one mediocre game will have come out in that year, and
Yeah, it's
all games will be
horrifying.
mediocre.
Time is the scariest fucking thing in the world. But speaking of scary, I was thinking it might be fun in October if we played through a scary game. Have you played a lot of scary games?
No, I mean, no, I haven't. I don't, I played Slender Man, but that was just as a late night, Friday night, we're all drunk. Hey, let's play Slender Man on the lounge TV
Right.
with the lights off, which was fun until someone spilled their beer on the keyboard.
Right.
Times was when someone got such a fright that they threw the keyboard across the room.
It's pretty funny. I've always
It was pretty funny.
I've always had a weird fascination with scary games. I don't really put like Slender Man and Five Nights at Freddy's in the pantheon of scary games because those are just those are basically just
No, not really.
yeah. I feel like are less games as much as elaborate jump scares. I mean, they're definitely effective, and props to them because that's clearly exactly what they're going for, and they clearly work.
Yeah, I mean that's related as well.
Right.
Just
But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a whole, if you will, of scary games that some of them I've been able to get into. To be honest, I'm a huge fucking pussy when it comes to scary games, and most of them I can't get through unless I have somebody playing through with me. There have been a handful that I have been able to get through.
I mean, there may be a reason that I'm not really any scary games.
Yeah, I am a complete coward when it comes to scary games.
What was that one game for a while? I saw a bunch of Let's Plays.
Are you thinking of shit?
It's that one game, and I tried playing it.
Are you thinking of PT?
No, it was like a couple of years ago.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're thinking of.
I don't know. Oh, was it Amnesia?
Oh, Amnesia. Yeah, I did not make it through Amnesia, let's say, but I have watched enough Let's Plays of other people playing Amnesia that I feel like I've gotten the full experience. But
Yeah. That's I've watched far more of other people playing it than I actually played myself.
Yeah, I tried to play Amnesia. I think I made it about 15 minutes before I was like, nope, fuck this, I'm not doing this. I called over.
Yeah, I played it with me and a friend tried to play it together, and we kind of made it less scary by just making a joke of everything. But I don't know.
Yeah, I tried to get
shit kept happening, man, and doors would close, my vision would go all blurry, and then critters would appear at the end of hallways.
Yeah,
In the end, it got significantly less scary when I just gave up and tried to die of fear, and I just couldn't.
Right, that's how you
thought it was possible, but I couldn't. So I was like, oh well, I can't. I'm trying to get so scared I'll die, but I can't. So oh well.
Yeah, that's.
And then I never played again.
I think that's how you beat scary games. Is you get to a point where you're so scared and exhausted that you're just like, fuck this, and you just run out in front of the monster and you're just like, kill me, monster, kill me. And you get a good look at the monster and you're like, oh, this is a video game, right? What's wrong? And then you're like, then you're fine. But getting to that point.
So I think we played it for about an hour. We got pretty stuck, to be honest.
Yeah, that one is kind of a fucker when it comes to the puzzles and shit that you got to do to advance.
Yeah, it was tricky. We got through one puzzle, but then I don't know. I just got stuck, and yeah, I don't know. There was also this room or a hallway, and it kind of had fleshy stuff on the walls, and it would hurt you as you walked through. And so while I was trying to die, I failed to die of fear, so I decided to just stand there and let the fleshy stuff kill me. But again, it failed to kill me, so it became less scary.
Gotcha. Yeah, I tried to get someone to come over and play Amnesia with me, but all of the weird field of vision stuff that it does was making them get motion sickness, so we had to stop. And I was like, God damn it, you're useless. You're supposed to be my fucking moral support. And
yeah, precisely. Yeah, I played it with my flatmate.
Anyway, but yeah, there is a small amount of scary games that I have been able to get through.
Alright, well if you can get through them, then I'm sure I can.
Right, yeah. I think I'm a good barometer for the like scariness to able to play it ratio, where if I'm able to beat the
Yeah, I mean,
game
if you,
on
I
my
would say
own,
you had a similar Amnesia experience to me, so I'm willing to go by that.
Amnesia fucking terrified me. I just
I,
couldn't.
I wouldn't have got through more than 15 minutes if I was alone.
Yeah, I don't even think I encountered the first monster before I was like, fuck it.
Oh god, I like saw it. Oh, it was so scary.
It really was. Like,
But when I was watching playthroughs, it was so funny.
yeah, when someone else is doing it, I'm totally
Oh.
fine. Although when I watched people play PT, I lost my shit a couple times, but that's a different thing. Anyway, yeah, so there's a couple of those I thought might be good candidates because they're kind of older, and I think probably they have been overlooked in gaming's history. Have you ever heard of the Fatal Frame games?
No, that doesn't sound familiar at all.
Fatal Frame. You might actually know it under a different name. I know it got released at least in EU countries under a different name. I think it was Project Zero is what they got released at. I don't know.
It does sound familiar.
Okay, yeah, it might be
Project Zero sounds familiar.
it might be a name thing. But basically, they are Japanese horror games that have to do with ghosts, I guess. And the primary like way you have of fighting the ghosts and making progress is that you have a camera, and the camera is able to like take pictures of the ghosts. So it's kind of a neat little mechanic that it's basically like a gun for all intents and purposes, in the sense that you point it at ghosts and shoot them with it to do damage to them. But it digs into like scary Japanese superstitious mythology stuff pretty good, and that shit is fucking terrifying. Like American horror is all about like scary looking monsters and like chainsaw guys,
slasher fic, really.
Right, exactly. And that doesn't scare me. I've never been scared by a movie in my entire life. Like I don't know how after playing scary video games you can ever be scared by a movie again. Like because when a movie is scary, you just sit there and just let it keep happening. Like that's what I hate about scary games, is there'll come a point where I'm scared, but
you're experiencing it and you have to do something, like something horrifying is happening and you have to take an action.
You have to take an action, and you also have to you have to take an action, or else the game won't progress. Like the movie will keep playing no matter what you do. You don't have to do
I mean,
anything.
I guess movies are more like gory or or stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, they don't activate my fear center the way scary games does, because with the game it's like different. It's on you to fucking make shit happen, where in a movie you're just kind of sitting there passively watching. And I guess you're supposed to be like empathizing with other characters in the movie. They're scary, but I'm just like,
I don't close my eyes to the gory parts.
Right. Yeah. If it bugs you, just close your eyes and wait a little bit, and then it'll be fine. But you can't do that in games. So if you just close your eyes, you'll just be right where you are still. so
yeah, you're right. Actually,
it's fucking awful like that. But yeah. So I was thinking that there's another game that several years ago called The Suffering, which is about it's kind of about like a haunted prison, if you will. It's more of an action game, and a lot of the horror comes from like all the awful shit that happened in the prison's history. You kind of like go back through time, and well, not literally through time, but you kind of like see all of the historical,
like in the flashbacks.
Right, there's all the historical awfulness that happened at this prison and the surrounding areas, and it's got a couple of different endings that get into some interesting twists. Basically, the premise is that for killing his family, and there's kind of this open-ended question of did you do it or not, and kind of your actions in the game kind of end up determining what actually happened there. So it's kind of a cool game.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So I was thinking maybe something like that for October. We'll see how long it takes us to get
through, that could be cool.
Through Persona, maybe. I don't think it will take us 3 months to beat that game, but who knows? Who knows?
The games.
Right, yeah. The thing about the horror games is that they are more action-oriented than the RPGs we've been playing, so being the worst would actually be a serious problem if we went over to an action game. But who knows? We can see. But yeah, we'll do Persona 3 next. We just gotta figure out how to get that working on your system. I think it won't be too tricky because the version of Persona 3 that we'll be playing will be the PSP version, for reasons that we'll get into later. I think that's the version of the game we want to play, and I feel like if you can run a Nintendo DS emulator,
yeah, I should be able to.
but I could be wrong. If,
I mean,
if it
I can run StarCraft on high/ultra graphics. Surely I can run a PSP emulator, but you never know.
right, that's kind of what I'm assuming. But yeah, I wouldn't be totally shocked if for some weird it didn't work. But we'll test it out. And
Emulators
see.
can be fickle.
Yeah, they definitely can be. Yeah, so I guess that's what's up next for us. We've completed Chrono Trigger. We did it. Good job. Well played.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. I really love that game. I don't know what else to say about it except that it's really good.
Yeah.
And I love it a lot.
Yeah, no, so far these games definitely had
yeah,
direction.
Yeah, this was kind of the kind of SNES to PlayStation 1 was, I think, the golden era of Japanese RPGs. It was honestly it was the golden era before fucking Enix bought Square and ruined Square forever. So every game that came out when it was still just SquareSoft, and then every game that Square Enix has released has been one of the worst games of all time. So really marketable drop off there. But yeah, so yeah, we're kind of going through time in that sense. We played 2 games from the early-ish 90s with Earthbound and Chrono Trigger, and Persona 3 will be, I think it first came out in like mid-2000s, like maybe 2005 or 6, so we'll be jumping ahead 10 years.
Okay, yeah, jump in. Yeah, because I think Earthbound first.
I actually can't remember off the top of my head now when Earthbound came out.
You know what else I'm trying to remember? The thing which prompted us to do this in the first place, there was some reference you made to either Earthbound or Chrono Trigger, and then...
Yeah. I don't remember what that reference was.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was anymore.
But
it was at that point you realized I hadn't played whatever game it was.
Yeah, I'm sure it was to one of those 2 games, because they are my favorite games of all time, so I probably would have referenced them.
It was something about, like...
Earthbound came out in 1994, and Chrono Trigger came out, I think, in 1995, although it may have been 1 year earlier for the Japanese release. Nope. Oh wow, they came out. That doesn't happen anymore. They came out the same year in Japan and the States, so 1995.
Oh,
so yeah, Earthbound was 1 year ahead of Chrono Trigger. So yeah, with Persona, we'll get to jump ahead a decade and see how JRPGs have fared in the interim. I think we're perfectly skipping the time in between, which is when JRPGs got real bad. I feel like recently maybe they've started to make a turn, maybe back towards good a little bit. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I think the Persona series is kind of an outlier in that still. I think it's still mostly pretty bad, but at least there are some that are starting to buck the trend of just like, look at how beautiful the graphics are, but all the writing and gameplay is fucking terrible.
Yeah, I might as well just... Yeah, I mean, it's just not sustainable. I guess good on them for exploring all the beautiful graphical options in games and sinking their entire budget into the graphics, but it's gonna be nice when they get over that.
Right, yeah, I mean, it's definitely cool to see, like, how beautiful things can look, but, like, look at Chrono Trigger, like, its graphics are pretty modest. They're very utilitarian. They, like, serve their purpose very well, and nobody ever played through Chrono Trigger and thought, man, this would be a really good game if just the graphics were a lot better. Like, it's not even in like the top 5 things of like what makes a good game is the graphics, and yet that seems to be what
Final Fantasy VII.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I like that game, but it has the worst graphics of all time.
Right, and even people who love Final Fantasy VII will freely admit the graphics are awful, but that's not what they're interested in anyway, so it doesn't really matter to them. So why the fuck do they spend so much time on the graphics when it's clearly not important to anybody? I don't know.
Yeah, like, it's kind of, it might draw you in for the first half hour or so, but
Right, there's the
You're
initial
not gonna
like
play a game for 15 hours because you really enjoy looking at the graphics.
right. It's good for like the
guess.
initial wow factor, but yeah, it has diminishing returns, whereas good writing doesn't. It will always be good
Yeah.
forever. So
I mean, I guess for me, a semi exception to that would be games like Skyrim, where I more or less just enjoy fucking around, wandering around, exploring the world. But then that is the type of game that it is. And
yeah,
then I don't know. It always, I don't know.
I don't know why I consider that different. I guess maybe
Yeah.
because Skyrim's graphics are not super high end. They're pretty. I mean, they're good,
pretty
definitely.
okay.
But yeah, they're not like.
I guess it's more, yeah, I guess it's not so much that the graphical quality itself is outstanding. It's just that they've created.
I think
a
it's
really
the
cool
amount
world.
of. I think it's the like
I just-
attention to detail that Skyrim gets into is what's
Yeah.
super cool. Like, yeah, the graphics are
Like, it's
not
just a
top of
great,
the line,
really-
but you know.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm playing, I've spent quite a few times just taking 30 seconds to look around.
Yeah,
Whereas-
they do a lot with. I mean, yeah, it's not even really even the art direction so much as just like the amount of things as opposed to how good those things are. I guess is what makes it.
Yeah,
different. I'm
yeah.
not sure.
It's a solid exploration game.
Yeah. But yeah,
And the
but
mountains and snow and all that. Yeah, it's definitely different.
right. Yeah, and that's so open-ended, whereas I think most JRPGs are pretty linear. Like there'll be some side stuff to do, but not in like
Yeah, I
a
was
go wherever
actually
you
really
want kind of way.
yeah, the first of those Bethesda games that I played was Oblivion, and I was actually kind of weirded out for a while because it's not nearly as linear, and so the storyline isn't as strong, and I kind of didn't enjoy that initially.
Yeah,
I just had to
I have a weird
sort of rearrange my brain as to what I expected.
Yeah, I have a weird relationship with open world games where it's like I like I like it in concept on paper, but when you
Yeah,
plot
in
me
reality,
down,
I never finished them.
well, there's that. Yeah, for me, it's always like if you plot me down in a huge open world and be like, you can do whatever you want, I'll be like, well, but what should I do
I don't
though?
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need some.
I need some direction.
Exactly. I need some sort of structure, something. Yeah, I can't like if I wanted to just
Yeah.
use my imagination to think of fun shit to do, I would not be playing a video game. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool that you're not like stuck on the rails going through a single path, but like I would rather there just be like a lot of paths rather than no path at all. Like yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean
Which I guess, yeah.
those games are super good, but yeah, I definitely if you're at all like a completionist where you like obsess about having to do everything, those games can get really overwhelming and frustrating.
Being a completionist actually ruined Borderlands for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've played Borderlands. I haven't finished it because I was literally like going to do every single quest on my list and I got bored. The entire environment. I realized after like 50 of them that it's all sand and I was sick of walking through sand. And I kind of really wish that I hadn't done that and that I just tried following the plot a bit more and skipped some of the shitty side quests.
Yeah, I have played Borderlands, and yeah, I can see how you...
Because I was really enjoying it, like, I don't know, I really enjoyed it until I got really sick of all the sand.
Yeah, Borderlands is a bad game to try to be a completionist in, because a lot of the
Yeah.
the purpose of side quests in that game is really just to make sure that you get some
It's
okay
really for
guns,
leveling.
leveling, and to make sure
Yeah.
you get loot that is gonna help you get through the next bit. But yeah, I would say
Yeah,
as soon
which
as
is cool, but
yeah, as soon as the next main quest is like becomes like green to you or whatever it does to signify that you're the appropriate level to go do it. Yeah, I think the right thing to do is just go do it and fuck all the side shit that you haven't done.
yeah,
Cause,
because it's still on my to-do list to actually finish, because I don't know, I'm pretty sure I'm more than halfway through, but when I do, I'll be following the main quest unless it's clear that I'm not leveled enough, in which case I'll go and do some of the side quests and then come back.
yeah,
And I'm pretty sure that's the way that you've got to do it.
I think so. Yeah, the side stuff in Borderlands isn't that significant. Like they're usually pretty
Yeah.
good for a laugh or whatever, but they're
Like
not.
yeah, like some of it's okay, and it has interesting. It's been so long since I half played Borderlands.
Right.
There was that stuff with that lady, and there's those journal entries, and yeah, all about when she kind of goes crazy and all that stuff's quite fun. But
Anyway, so that was
yeah.
that was a bit of a detour, but anyway.
In conclusion, I think we'll play Persona 3 next.
I think that's what we'll do
Some
next.
kind of scary game in October
Yes, I think that's what we decided.
for Halloween.
Yeah, all hinging on whether or not we can get this PSP emulator working. I think we probably can. Maybe we'll mess around with that.
Yeah, I have faith. I mean, we got virtual audio cable working, so...
So there's really nothing we can't do if we put our
Yeah, we're
minds to
clearly
it.
technological wizards.
Okay. Well, I think we've reached the end of the stream. So
Indeed.
until next time, internet.